I'm waiting under the arch in Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn to meet Amalie, Bruun, and Brian Harding of X-Cops. The Danish-American duo is known for their electro-pop 90s alt-rock fusion, working with the legendary Billy Corgan, and for their face-off with one of the world's biggest corporations. I have some questions about the future of the music business, and I have a suspicion X-Cops can help me find some answers. For over a decade, the music industry has been in chaos. A world where record sales made artists millionaires has gone the way of flannel shirts and Discman players, and artists and executives alike have been scrambling to find a new business model for getting paid. In the age of streaming and no-hassle illegal downloads, song placement in car commercials and TV licensing has become an almost mandatory pit stop for being able to make it as a band. X-Cops recently squared off with a major corporation who wanted something for nothing, and the band's open letter on Facebook set off an internet firestorm. And so I had to know, in today's world of digital distribution, how does a band make it? And what does making it even mean anymore? After an exceptionally brutal winter in New York, I decided that Prospect Park in Brooklyn would be the ideal place to get to know X-Cops on such a gorgeous spring day. It's a gorgeous morning here in New York City, and you know, you're from upstate New York, or you're based out of upstate New York right now. Yeah. You're from North Carolina, you're from Denmark. What role do you think the cities that you guys have called home over the years played in inspiring you as artists?
Well, I think because we met in New York City, that has a certain freedom to it. You know, I think everyone who moves here or goes here, you know, you can meet a lot of people. You're maybe a little bit more open-minded than if you were somewhere else. You're sort of looking for new friends or new people to play with, and we did that, you know.
Yeah, I think living in the city, like under a pressure cooker for a few years, really like influenced our earlier sound, and you can kind of hear that, I think. And then I think this particular album, Daggers, is really something that the songs go across the world. She wrote some stuff in Denmark, I wrote some stuff in North Carolina and New York, and I think that kind of creates a more colorful palette.
I can't hear songs like Black Soap without thinking of another sort of Scandinavian electronic pop act. In this case, that would be The Knife.
Well, I think I know why you're saying that, because of this, the pre-chorus, the da, right, like that style, and that is something that I brought to the song, which is, I guess, sort of a Scandinavian, like playful vibe or something. But it was a very, very natural process of writing. We didn't particularly think of each song like it should sound like this band or anything. It's just like this true sort of what we came with.
That was like our one true, like super half and half collaboration, where just different pieces of everything put together. And we wrote that together in like a basement.
Congratulations.
Amalie and Brian had plenty of interesting things to say, and I had a lot of questions about their sound, their tour, and the production of their latest LP. But I felt like I had to dig into the question of survival and success in the modern music scene. You guys recently had to call out a major brand because they didn't want to pay you to perform. And without wanting to talk about that incident specifically, you know, there's this sort of devaluation of music happening right now, whether that's streaming services paying bands hundreds on a penny to play a song, or U2, you know, giving away their entire album for free.
I think, unfortunately, a piece of you has to understand that might not change. That once the access is there to get whatever you want for free, people aren't going to back away from that and stop doing it. So in that sense, you have to say, okay, I understand that, and you have to find other ways to make your living. In another sense, it's sad that you're not viewed as a worker just because you're like playing rock and roll and wearing t-shirts. you're not given that like deserved credit.
You can't live today without having a roof over your head and food. This is very hard to do. So, you know, then you won't get that, and then you'll have to stop making music, which is okay, you know. But then I just don't think that that's really what the world wants.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want only the people who can afford to go into debt to be making music. Back in the days, they would look in the gutter for the fucking artists.
Yeah, I've seen lots of good bands who've had to hang it up because, you know, they have to keep their apartment or a job. And that's what people should think about when they're considering payments or no payments.
At the same time, paid, I guess, cooperation with these brands has become kind of an inescapable reality of modern music. I've lost track of the number of times that I've joked that, you know, Band A is one well-placed car commercial away from superstardom. And so, you know, what role is it that you think that, how do I say this, that, you know, working with these sort of brands or, you know, bigger, you know, business entities can have in sort of helping push young artists' career forward?
I think it's fine. I think it's something that we have to just like kind of go with. That's the venue where the most people will hear your music, and that's every artist's goal, I think. So if some car company wants to put a song in a commercial, I think it's not even a thought. It's fine.
I think it's risky to just accept like, oh yeah, well, from now on, an artist's goal in order to make money is to be placed in commercials or work with brands, because whenever you start taking money from people, they start telling you what to do. And that's okay, but then what happens to the art? What happens to the music? How much is that going to be shaped so that it can fit into this car commercial, or so that you have to wear this Pepsi t-shirt at your show and compromise with what you were trying to do in the first place? So I think we have to be a little bit careful with just accepting that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are writing for that now, as opposed to like a few years ago, like it would be a cool song in a commercial because it's a cool song, and like, but they weren't even thinking about that aspect. Now people were saying like, oh, okay, this is good for a shoe commercial. This is good for yeah, kind of, and you know, it is what it is.
It's safe to say X-Cops have shed some light on the topic of compensation and digital distribution, but as a music lover, I can't deny that I'm excited to hear more about their new album and working with Billy Corgan.
Right now at this stage, we really love 90s, but we love pushing things forward. So the whole plan of this album was to be a futuristic, organic message from the past sort of thing. So, you know, we love that whole 90s thing. Don't want to be a throwback thing. That's why we chose to work with Justin Raisin, who's, you know, futuristic in his own way, and then work with Billy, who's 90s.
You brought Billy Corgan up, and he, you know, helped executive produce the record. What was it like having basically a titan of alternative rock around for this new album?
It was a blessing. I mean, it was like, I said this a million times, it was like, it felt the closest to college to me, because we would get up at 9 a.m. and work till 10 p.m. God. And have like a real like mentor, like, that we love, you know? Like, it wasn't just like some like studio producer dude. Like, we were obsessed with Smashing Pumpkins, so to have that much respect and to want to listen to every word that he's saying to you was amazing. That was 2 weeks.
Daggers was, it seemed like a significant stylistic departure from True Hallucinations. You know, you kind of traded in your more lo-fi roots for this sort of more ornate electronic pop sound. What were the conversations like as a band when you decided to, like, you know, change sort of the artistic direction you guys were taking?
Like, True Hallucinations is really like a me thing, and it was like the influences that I was listening to at the time. And Amalie and I decided that it would really be great to, she has amazing like pop roots and a very Scandinavian pop sense. We wanted to introduce that in the sound.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was, I didn't write anything for the first album, and we sort of had a conversation like, do we want to still be a band? Are we trying to make more music together? I mean, or start writing together? And in which case, then we're gonna be writing together. So that's a totally different sound already there when I start stepping into it.
We just want to do what we loved as kids too.
Okay.
And that was pop music.
Songs, like real
Just,
songs.
yeah, like we listened to ABBA and Michael Jackson, like Nirvana. That's what we liked as kids, and we wanted to kind of bring that back to our sound.
Ex-cops have firm convictions about the business and art of making music. They already shared some ideas about how to make a buck. But what does it take to make a name? You said that the indie space is kind of multiplying like a virus. So, you know, what does it take to distinguish yourself as a pop band these days?
A vaccine.
Yeah, you cannot listen to what writers or anyone is saying. They're like a very illoyal crowd. They like the next band the next week. So you have to just write what you believe is good.
Yeah, there's this band called Chastity Belt, I think are really awesome, and I followed them on Facebook, and they just got a kind of bad review from a certain big blog, and they wrote that big blog's name like a frowny face. And I just wanted to write to them fuck that, who cares? It's a really good album, you guys are great, don't even think about this kind of stuff. I think that's the problem with lots of young bands.
Reviews are not important anymore. They've lost their significance, and they know that too. What child grows up wanting to be a reviewer and criticize other people all day long? Nobody dreams about that, but it happens to certain people, and it's okay for them. But people Billy always talked about that too. The rock and roll band should take back its power, like it used to have in the 90s. You were being rewarded for being different. Now you're being rewarded for being totally the same. So we should take back this power.
The path forward for artists is clearer than it was when Napster first dropped a bomb on the industry, but there are still plenty of uncertainties and hazards for young musicians. Artists like Ex-Cops, who have a strong sense of self and a unique vision, can make a path with streaming compensation, live gigs, and commercial licensing. But can it work for everyone? Feeling a bit chastened but not deterred, I am ready to continue seeking the answers to the big questions facing music today. Who knows if I'll ever find all the answers, but I have to ask. And that's what makes me the Rock Geek.